tell something is wrong with your water, you really don't think about how big of a part it plays in your life. There were little signs that something was going on in the ground. You talk to different people at the bus stop or at the grocery store, and everybody had a water story. People were saying that they would wash their clothes and their clothes were just falling apart. We didn't know what it was. We just knew that our water shouldn't smell like sewage and it shouldn't taste like a bottle of bleach. I saw the changes in myself before I saw it in my daughter. We didn't feel good, we were ill, and I'm like, what is going on here? What have we been exposed to? I went to a Tigers game and I just so happened the guy that was sitting next to me, I'm telling him like, I'm from Flint. He's like, oh, you are? I heard you guys got a water problem. I said, well, what did you hear? And he's like, well, I work for GM and I know that we sent a letter to you guys as governor saying that something was wrong with the water because the water is rusting out metal for our cars. Just think what it was doing to our insides. We thought that if we protested and made them switch back to the Detroit water that we would be fine, but we didn't know the pipes were as damaged as they were. And we didn't know at that time that the infrastructure had just disintegrated.
When corrosive water goes into lead pipes, it starts to lose its protective coating. And over a period of weeks, months, or certainly in this case years, the lead starts falling off into the water at very high concentrations. Environmental engineers, we can treat any water, no matter how polluted it is. We can take raw sewage, clean it up to the point that you can drink it. We can take hazardous waste and make it perfectly potable, as good as the best drinking water in the country. The question really is cost. The Flint River water source itself, there's high levels of salt in the water to start with, but then to clean it up, they needed to add more salt in the form of chemicals, and the net result was that Flint River was 8 times more corrosive than Lake Huron water. Now, usually that wouldn't matter because we have a federal law that requires you add another chemical to stop the corrosion.
This is a man-made disaster. The city of Flint was under the emergency manager law, and the emergency manager chose to use the Flint River as our drinking water source. They knew they did not have the equipment to apply corrosion control, which is mandated in the Safe Drinking Water Act if you have lead service lines. To me, that's not America. That's not the America that my parents told me about. If you're poor, then you lose the right to democracy.
This is not a problem that's limited to a specific state or a specific political party. It's a failure of government that affects all Americans.
It could happen to you what happened to Flint. And it doesn't just have to be water. It could be your soil, it could be your air.
We have tougher financial times. Many cities are going to be following in Flint's footsteps. And what do we do to ensure a minimum level of civilization?
When you start standing up for your rights, we've seen this in history, things do change.
We can elect officials who are going to hold government accountable.
There's a long stretch between your mayor and the President of the United States. So make sure when you vote, you go all the way down that ballot.
Change never happens from the top down, it always happens from the bottom up.